Hello, this is a video about selecting your first fountain pen. And while I'm not an expert on fountain pens or anything else for that matter, I thought it would be nice to kind of put some of my thoughts out there that might help some people. They might not, but hopefully they will. So, the first question to ask yourself is, why do you want to use a fountain pen? They are obviously more, let's call it cumbersome to use. They're not, as easy as ballpoints. They require more, shall we say, equipment in terms of, ink and blotting paper and ink towel and so on and so forth. And they're more expensive. So you really need to think hard about why you want to use a fountain pen. Some of the reasons why people use fountain pens include nostalgia. You grew up using a fountain pen, and over time you started using ballpoints because they became more prevalent. And now you want to get back into it because you kind of like that charm of a fountain pen. And some people use them because of the novelty of using a fountain pen. Some people use them to prevent or control their carpal tunnel because it is true that fountain pens require less pressure. So if you do a lot of writing, fountain pens may be good for you. Hobbyist collectors, definitely. I think a lot of people fall in that category. And a lot of people, like myself, think we actually achieve a better handwriting using a fountain pen compared to a ballpoint or a roller ball. And finally, pens can be fashion accessories and status symbols. So before you get your first pen, you need to kind of identify what your reasons for using a fountain pen are. So what first fountain pen is going to be right for you? That depends on a lot of things. What is your goal? So what I've tried to do here is kind of create categories for different goals or different types of users, if you will, of fountain pens. The first is if you want to just show off by having an expensive fountain pen, and there is nothing wrong with that. So I'm not trying to say that that is shallow or anything. I'm just saying that if that's what you want to do, you might not even need a fountain pen. An expensive ballpoint or an expensive roller ball should do just fine as well. But obviously, an expensive fountain pen is better. So and then there are the daily users who want to use it on their for their day-to-day writing or day-to-day tasks, and they might want blue, black, red, um, maybe a couple, three inks, something like that. And then there's the enthusiast. The enthusiast is someone who will have more types of nibs than sort of the basic, let's say fine, medium, broadness, and the he or she might have more inks. They might have different, um, medium nibs and so forth. And then a serious enthusiast is someone who likes to have and use different pen styles and generally has a style of pen for a type of work he's doing or he might be doing. Also has a tendency to try different types of nibs, mixing inks. Collectors, connoisseurs, very similar to serious enthusiasts, except they might want to go into more unique styles and unique materials and limited editions, and they might focus more on the collectability of a fountain pen rather than necessarily functionality. And this, both these categories, the serious enthusiast and the collector, um, that is not really to say that they all expensive pen. They can actually go down to very cheap pens. If there's a new design that comes out that's very non-conventional, both those category people are more likely to get that and try it out just because of the uniqueness. They really like fountain pens and they want to try different things irrespective of the price, meaning if it's low, high. Obviously affordability is a factor for everybody, but they'll have a very wide range of fountain pens that they would like. So you need to think about the whys and where you want to be. Um, Going back to that slide, you can start off as a someone whose main goal is to show off, and then end up liking it, becoming a daily user, and an enthusiast or a serious enthusiast, and so on and so forth. So there's no hard and fast box that you can fit in. Some people want to start as enthusiasts and stay enthusiasts, whether they use fountain pens on a daily basis or not. So there's really no category that uh, you're necessarily going to completely fit in or not grow out of, but you want to think about where you want to be, at least starting out, and maybe a year from now if everything goes well. So going back to the why, if you're getting a fountain pen for the sake of novelty, nostalgia, carpal tunnel, any decent pen would do. If you want better handwriting and you're a hobbyist, then you probably need more than a decent pen. You want greater durability, you want greater consistency, you want maybe slightly better materials that don't wear over time. And finally, if you're looking for a fountain pen as a fashion accessory or a status symbol, it has to be an expensive brand. It doesn't have to be an expensive pen necessarily, but it has to be an expensive brand, and a known brand at that. An unknown brand that is expensive doesn't really do a whole lot in terms of a status symbol. So, the first thing to think about when it comes to pens, in my opinion, again, these are all my opinions, there's no science to selecting your first fountain pen. So please indulge my intelligence here or lack thereof, either way. First thing, pen size and weight. You can see there's a lot of different sizes of pens available, and on the right hand side here I have the Sue brand from the Pelican company. They're M300, 400, 600, 800,000. You can see it's the same design, but look at the difference in sizes. It goes from as low as about 4.5 inches to almost 6 inches, and a diameter of let's say 3/8 inch to almost 5/8 inch. So and even the weight, you can see this is 32 grams and this is 10.7 grams, so almost 3 times between the smallest and the largest pen. So there's a huge variety, and I'm just picking one brand here. And then you have to think about whether you're going to use the pen posted or unposted. Posted means that you take the cap off and you put it on the back of the barrel when you're writing. It makes the pen longer. And finally is a pocket pen right for you. A pocket pen is a small pen that you pretty much have to post to use unless you have small hands. So pen length is a function of what size your hands are. So if you have small hands, you don't want too large a pen. You lose controllability, and if you have too large hands, then you don't want a small pen because again you lose control. Same thing with barrel diameter. Depending on your hand size, you want to think about a little bit, hold different ballpoints or something in your hand and get a feel for, you like bigger barrels, thicker grips, or thinner ones, and think about what pressure you use as well. with different grips. Sometimes in thinner grips you end up using more pressure. So at the end of the day, you don't want a whole lot of pressure on your fingers. So and then one of the things I think about, and this is not necessarily something you might consider important, I usually go for a bigger pen for a bigger nib, or a broader pen for a broader nib, and a thinner pen for a finer nib. I just feel that I just think that feels right. But again, no hard and fast rules on anything here. Just think about it. If you buy into that philosophy, go for it. Otherwise, discard it. Whatever works for you. You just need to think about these things, and if you agree with it, good. If not, you find your own way. And then finally, the weight. Again, you have to think about whether you're going to use the pen posted, unposted, how heavy is the cap, and you can find pens, in a huge range of weights: super light, light, medium, heavy. Heavy pens would be a lot of brass and with lacquer or so forth, and super light would be just plastic, very little metal. So again, huge range. Think about it before you buy your first pen. You may not know all the answers, but think about it so you at least are making a thoughtful decision. Finally, or not finally, but another thing to think about is the different types of pen types that are available there: sack fill, cartridge converter, piston, and eyedropper. I've kind of tried to put them under each category. The sack fill is an archaic system. It has a rubber sack with a metal clip. And those are usually not available anymore, and they are used generally by serious enthusiasts and collectors, and you can find them usually in vintage pens. Cartridge converter type, easy systems, widely available. Piston fills, not widely available, but some people still make them, and they hold a lot of ink, but they do have a seal that will eventually wear out, and you have to think about being able to service that and maintain that. On expensive pens, it might cost you a bunch of money to get that serviced. On cheaper pens, it may not even be worth getting it fixed. So you might have to discard that pen once that seal fails. The eyedroppers is where the barrel comes off. You use an eyedropper to pour ink into the barrel, and these are limited in availability, and generally speaking, they hold a lot of ink, so they're very good that way, but they can create a huge mess if there are accidents. So just different things to think about. Cartridge converters are certainly the most common and easiest to use. Highly recommended. You have the option of using cartridges or bottled ink. I would suggest bottled ink unless you think that you don't want to start there. I've had mixed experiences with cartridge, and one of the main things about your first fountain pen is you have to buy something you're gonna like. The worst thing that can happen is you buy something that you don't like and you get turned off a fountain pen. The goal of your first pen is to get you excited about fountain pens, and the way to do that is to be attracted to the brand, the history, the philosophy of the first fountain pen you buy. You have to have some sort of well, you don't have to have, but I think it's always nice to have some sort of a connection, because after all, fountain pens, one of the reasons why people use fountain pens is sort of they have a personality, if you will. And a lot of the brands have their personality, and you have your personality, so you need to find a good fit. And the pen should fit your sense of aesthetics. You want to see something that you like every day, that you use. And you want to buy, as I mentioned, with a goal of expanding your collection. And if you're thinking one and done, that's highly unlikely. And then finally, don't underestimate a beautiful nib. And finally, you have to think, are you a romantic? Do you want to pass on your first fountain pen to your grandchild? It's an odd thing to think about, but think about it. Nibs. There are all kinds of different nibs available in the